you stopping?
Did you want me to?
No, I want you to keep recording.
We're rolling.
We are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So the things that I saw, the things that I was telling you about, I'll just start at the beginning and go through the whole thing, and you can just keep recording the whole time. And you can follow me. You don't have to. There you go. Much better. All right. So the push out looks good. The first issue I see is that as soon as we get into the transition, as soon as we get into the start of the curve, stride pattern is changing, and it should. Remember that you're trying to come into the transition and have no change to stride pattern. Only thing that changes is you start to lean at the foot, not at the head or the hip, but up, upright and good posture the whole way, leaning through. You may need to adjust back your start mark, because what I see is a lot of sort of chopping and sort of checking so that you can get that pattern into your takeoff. We want that. We want you to find pattern into the takeoff, but we don't want it to happen because we have to check steps. Because what happens is you pick up speed, you gain speed, and when you get here, you're forced to slow down because you're trying to chop your steps to get in that position. Once you reach, 3 or 4 steps out, and you feel like, okay, the pattern's right, then you're re-accelerating. We want that to continue the whole way through. It's going to make it much smoother. It's going to make it feel just much more fluid. You're going to feel the pulling through the curve like you talked about, or once you reach that pocket, which is right here, you hit the pocket, it's going to pull you through. You're going to feel that force, that sort of that tangential force sort of pull you through the takeoff. The other thing that we talked about, and what I meant by come a little closer, is that your double arm swing is now appearing to just be very high. And so when I was talking to you earlier about the shoulder girdle, or the shoulders being very high, what's happening now is you're taking these arms and you're just sort of bringing them high and then trying to get them together, when we want them to come back, sort of down, like, a bird, if you will, down and then swoop up. And that's what's going to give you that extra force at takeoff. You get that?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we talked about, and I'll come stand over here.
I'm going to have to step back a little bit to have your feet.
Okay, come stand over here.
Oh.
All right. Can you see the pit? I just want to get a line on the pit.
Yeah.
Okay. What I saw, and I know Jen was videoing from over there, so I can't really see the lean that you're at. But what we're talking about is coming into planting at takeoff at a lean, all right? Now when you go into takeoff...
Hey, probably talk louder when the ball's down here.
What?
Talk louder. I don't know if you're going to hear you over the soccer.
When we're here, we're at lean, so our body's at this leaned angle. And then we go into takeoff. That movement from lean to upright is what's going to continue the rotation over. Now when you're doing scissors, you're not worried about rotation over, so you're able to send everything up and scissor onto the pit. When you're jumping, you have that rotation that you're worried about. However, we don't have to force it by jumping and twisting in. All we have to do is hit lean, and the movement from here to here is what's going to start and continue that rotation over the ball, or over into the pit. So, coming into the curve at a lean and continuing it into takeoff, that's going to take care of all those other problems of rotation over. And what it does is it allows that jump, instead of sending anything this way, because you're trying to force that rotation, you're going to be able to send it all this way, and you're going to get that high parabola arc that we're talking about, the high sort of arc, as opposed to one that's very skimming the bar, or just barely getting any sort of arc and slimming over. The other thing that I didn't say, but I wanted to come back to, and Oz, come over. The thing that I didn't see today, and this is the tricky part, because we're talking about fluidity of the approach and speed and all that, and the penultimate is going to sort of throw off that fluidity a little bit because you're changing. Remember the drill we did at Mira when Pup was there, where we put the hurdle here and had you you know, sort of hop over it and then hop.
Do that again. I think I missed. I think you ran out of the screen, or almost.
Where we hop over the hurdle. You'll remember this, where you hop over the hurdle and then jumped again. It's that sort of, you know, it's not going to be as exaggerated as it is if there's a hurdle there, but there's certainly a sort of raising, lowering, raising of the body center of mass that is going to allow you to get down and get up. And that's where the float comes from. That's where that high parabola comes from, is from the penultimate being low to high, okay, taking your body center mass and it's running along, and then bringing it up, as well as lean, as well as all the other elements that are going to improve that speed and force application at takeoff. So the arms, the hard knee drive, that's what's going to give you that high parabola arch that it is that you're looking for. The float comes from that. High bar clearances come from that. All right. Rotation at bar clearance at the top is going to be a product of all those other things. So if you're finding that you're jumping into the pit too much and you're reaching your highest point out here, then all these elements are going to be what fix that. It's not kicking your feet. It's not arching your back. It never was. What else? And then beyond that, the things that I was telling Jen to tell you is that, you know, the thought pattern or the thought process that should be when you're jumping, or at least the visual cues that you're giving yourself, are to imagine that bar. And whatever you're looking at, you're going to hit, right? Or whatever you're thinking about, you're going to hit. And so if you're thinking about the bar right here, you're only going to get over that bar. If you clear it, you're only going to be over by a little bit amount. But mentally, visually, if you're thinking about jumping to an imaginary bar that's higher, it's going to reinforce all these other things, and it's going to give you that high parabola arch or shape of the jump that you're looking for. Other than that, I thought that today was at least from talking to you after your past meets and talking to you now, it seemed like a much better day. So hopefully this sort of explains the things that we were talking about. We'll talk about it more.